Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the NXT review for the 11th of November 2020. They open NXT with a Veterans Day video. I'm not a fan of these, as I've mentioned before. I prefer my wrestling to be non political, and while I respect veterans from every country willing to sacrifice their lives, I don't think this should be a part of the show. If they want to say Happy Veterans Day in a 30-second throwaway during the show as the announcers, that's fine, but I'm not a fan of doing videos like this or anything like that. Gargano opens the show. He's in the ring. He reveals a wheel of challengers, telling people that they need to respect the wheel. He admitted the first time he won and defended the title he lost. Then he became NXT champion. He eventually spins the wheel, and somehow it lands on a spot with Leon Ruff written on white paper. The match begins. Squash match is the intention until the finish. Ruff looks good where he gets some offense. He isn't given a lot, but Damian Priest and Gargano are still the subcontext of the story here. Gargano dominates early, beats up Ruff in the corner, switches positions around in the turnbuckles, and drops Gargano with a drop kick. Gargano regains his feet and some heat, throwing Ruff into the steel steps on the outside. Gargano continues his assault on the outside, throwing Ruff into the cage containing the crowd. Damian Priest appears. Gargano initially makes fun of Priest, and Gargano re-enters the ring. Ruff tries to gain an advantage, rolling up Gargano. Gargano kicks out. Gargano lawn darts Ruff into the corner. He makes fun of Priest long enough for Ruff to counter with a crucifix bomb for the pinfall. Gargano has lost the title. Leon Ruff won the NXT Championship. Gargano is stunned by this, and Ruff puts the championship around his waist to celebrate. The belt falls down because Ruff is about 125 pounds. Ruff is being interviewed when Damian Priest comes up to him and tells him to take the black challenger outside, as in the vehicle. Ruff exits as Gargano came in angry and acted like he never came up with the wheel stipulation in the first place. Anyway, Jake Atlas said he's tired of being things being a numbers game in a network exclusive. He gets attacked by Legado de Fantasma. Santos Escobar defeating Jake Atlas for the Cruiserweight Championship. I actually like this match a lot more than other reviewers. I see a lot in Atlas here. Good TV match. I would even say probably the best match of NXT for the night. Atlas needs to find a role and stick with it. That I will say, but in terms of athletically in the ring, he's probably one of the better guys they have on NXT right now. Escobar controls early. Atlas makes a comeback. The attempted use of a crowbar on the outside is there. Atlas fends off every challenge that's there, hits a springboard blockbuster. We go to commercial, we come back. Escobar is back on offense. Basically, Atlas gets tripped up and thrown out of sorts. Atlas hits a Rana off the top rope, followed by a frog splash. Atlas makes a comeback, hitting a Rana of his own. Escobar hits the frog splash. That is Escobar. Gets his heat back and sends Atlas into the announce table. Escobar throws Atlas into the steel steps. Atlas nails a dive, followed in the ring by a roll-up for near fall. Escobar drops Atlas and hits a super kick, and then Atlas comes back and hits the cartwheel DDT. Santos blocks it, double hook the arms, and drives his opponent into his knee. Atlas gets pinned here, and Escobar wins the championship. Dexter Lumis, easy for me to say, is shown doing a drawing of Cameron Grimes running away from a zombie referee. This is just stupid. Video package shown Candice LeRae destroys Shotzi Blackheart's tank. Blackheart says she's looking to kick the tail of Candice. Gonzalez comes out to the ring. Xia Li does not come out. BOA arrives. BOA tells Gonzalez that Lee is not able to wrestle. Gonzalez is angry about this and kicks BOA straight in the head. She throws him around ringside before throwing him into the ring and hitting a one-arm powerbomb. A Chinese dragon appears. An old guy comes out to the ring and delivers BOA a note. And then BOA sells his hand like making some sort of power movement here. August Gray is about to explain why he confronted Tim Thatcher last week when Thatcher jumps him. And then Gray gets thrown into Loomis's drawing, and Loomis is staring at him. Candice LeRae defeats Toni Storm. I'm not really a fan of Storm. I do love Candice LeRae, though. Chain wrestling early. Storm applies an armbar. Storm continues to gain momentum until she goes for a hip toss and goes into the steel steps. LeRae gets back in control, comes back from the break. Storm cuts off LeRae. They both try to recover. Use of fisherman suplex. Goes to the top rope. LeRae meets her there and hits a twisting neck breaker, but didn't catch all she wanted from it. Storm continues with a leg drop off the top, but LeRae dodges. LeRae trips Storm into the buckle and then rolls her up for a pin on the ropes with leverage. Storm attacks LeRae post-match, and the Scream person comes out to help assault Storm. Blackheart comes out to even the odds. Scream lays her out with a kick. Scream takes off the mask, revealing Indy Hartwell, and LeRae are in the ring celebrating their new alliance. Breezango said this would not be fun. Breeze promised that he would regain the titles. Then Timothy Thatcher is wasted in a match with Dexter Lumis. And I say that just because, honestly, I can't ever really remember a time when Thatcher, in a gimmick situation, is a guy I want to see in that situation. Thatcher's a guy I'd love to see on a main roster. I'd give him to Matt Riddle. I'd give him Keith Lee. I'd give him to lots of folks. But this is not one of them, and my notes just closed, so bear with me just a second. Anyway, there we go. There's just a lot that I wouldn't do with Tim Thatcher. Thatcher certainly has, a lot more talent than a guy like Lumis does. Lumis takes down Thatcher, Thesz press, Thatcher recovers. Lumis puts his opponent in a submission, and then Thatcher gets laid out with a spine buster, uses his arm afterwards. He hits a drop kick, does Lumis, and Thatcher goes to the floor. Thatcher regains control on the outside. Lumis starts to make a comeback again. Thatcher sends Lumis into the post on the outside. Lumis cuts off Thatcher and goes to the top rope. Thatcher cuts him off with a European uppercut, and then hits a swanton bomb onto Thatcher. Thatcher shoves Lumis into Cameron Grimes, who's on the apron, and rolls him up for the win. Grimes jumps Lumis after the match. Lumis rises and stares down Grimes. He goes for the attack. Grimes cuts him off and choked him with a burlap sack, and then connects with a knee in the corner. Lumis tries to fight back with a chair, ends up sitting on it, and Grimes lays him out with a double foot stomp. Grimes told Loomis that he's not scared of him. Who would be at this point? Let's see. Gargano tells William Regal he's calmed down and wanted to reverse the result. Regal tells him no. Gargano says that the loss of the title is nothing but a joke. Regal says his decision stood. And Leon Ruff is the new North American champion. Then Ciampa cuts a promo. He mentioned that he's been in the business for 16 years, a long time, and that he remembers being trained by Harley Race and Killer Kowalski. He said he's certainly changed and everyone is talking, and then bark at enough people and you begin to feel their bite. He says he thought he was the last of the dying breed, but the culture of 2020 shows that there are some who are going to survive regardless. Change is good, and Ciampa's going to lead the change. They aired a segment covering the rivalry between Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Match will take place next week. Pat McCaffrey, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan come out, and McCaffrey puts over Dunne, attacking Roderick Strong and Killian Dane. He talks about everybody wanting his attention, and he then says he's been thinking about what he's going to say. McCaffrey buries the announce team, and he said, let's do this. Cameron Grimes is elected and elated about laying out Loomis. He said he used to be afraid of him, but if they cover up his eyes, it'll be okay. He said he was going somewhere where he's be very happy about his actions. Not quite sure what that means. NXT champion Finn Balor, who's been out for a while, will be back next week to address the program. And in the main event, Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan defeats Breezango for the to retain the tag team championships. Not a bad main event. Better main event than they had over on AEW. McCaffrey stable acts like they have some level of presence, which will translate well because they really don't have any quite yet. Tag division in NXT does seem to be better than AEW's, even though they have a lot more talent. In AEW, Burch and Lorcan immediately take Breezango to the outside of the floor. Fandango gets the upper hand. Burch tags in Breeze, and he hit a snap suplex and tags in Lorcan, who's taken to the corner and worked over by Breezango. Burch is then thrown into McCaffrey, who they basically make a big deal out of being bumped into the announcer's table. Burch works over Breeze while commercials run. McCaffrey's at ringside. Obviously, Fandango went for a sunset flip powerbomb, but McCaffrey tries to catch this and catch the referee's attention. Drake Maverick comes out and lays out Lorcan, letting Fandango hit the top of leg drop for a near fall. Then Dunn comes in and sent McCaffrey into the ring so he could see Breeze and hail him off the apron. Burch tags in, and Fandango doesn't see that. Burch headbutts Fandango, allowing him to be set up for an elevated DDT and given the win and the championship back to the champions. Anyway, everyone comes to celebrate but Drake Maverick. He comes in to make an attack at a later point. He is quickly cut off, and obviously the Dune and the rest of his pack have taken some major precautions to be one of the most powerful groups on SmackDown. Breezango comes in for the save, and then they're propped up on the announce table. Show ends with McCaffrey adjusting the camera to show what he means and who the better team is between the champions and the challengers for this week. Again, not the best of shows, but I've seen much worse. And for NXT, it's passable. In any event, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.